Indian poetry is a kaleidoscope of literary traditions, a spectrum of styles and themes that spans across the ages. It is a treasure trove of linguistic riches, written in many different languages including Sanskrit, Urdu, Hindi, Bengali, and Punjabi. Each language has its own unique flavor, its own rhythm and melody, creating a diverse and vibrant literary landscape. From the elevated Sanskrit poetry to the ghazals of Urdu, from the lyrical Hindi poetry to the folk-inspired Punjabi poetry, the literary traditions of India are as varied as the land itself. Each style and tradition adds its own vibrant hues to the kaleidoscope, creating a rich and diverse literary history that continues to inspire and captivate readers around the world. One of the earliest and most influential forms of Indian poetry is Sanskrit poetry, which dates back to ancient India. Sanskrit poetry is the ancient melody of India, a harmony of words that has echoed through the centuries. This poetry, dating back to ancient India, is steeped in the spiritual and religious traditions of the land. The themes of these poems often revolve around devotion and reverence for the divine, and the language in which they were written, Sanskrit, was considered sacred. These poems were not just literary works but considered as sacred texts, written by saints and sages who sought to connect with the divine through their verses. The highly structured and formal style of these poems added to their beauty and significance, and even today, they continue to be a source of inspiration for many. The echoes of these ancient hymns can still be heard in the spiritual traditions of India, a reminder of the deep literary and cultural roots of the land. In recent times, Indian poetry has been a melting pot of literary traditions, where the East meets the West and creates a unique blend of styles and influences. Urdu poetry, for example, has a rich tradition of ghazals, which are rhyming love poems that capture the nuances of love, longing, and heartbreak with effortless grace. Hindi poetry also has a strong tradition, with poets like Rabindranath Tagore and Suryakant Tripathi, Nirala, leaving an indelible mark on the literary world. Their poetry is a reflection of the cultural and historical context of India, and they have been recognized and respected not just in India but also around the world. They have successfully fused the Eastern and Western literary traditions, creating a new and distinct style of poetry that resonates with readers of all backgrounds. Indian poetry is not just a form of artistic expression, but a powerful instrument of social and political commentary. Throughout history, poets have used their words as a megaphone, amplifying the voices of the marginalized, the oppressed, and the forgotten. They have used their verses to call out the injustices and inequalities that plague our society, to give a face and a voice to the struggles of the marginalized, and to challenge the status quo. In times of crisis and turmoil, Indian poetry has been a beacon of hope, a call to action, a reminder that the pen is mightier than the sword. Their words have been a spark that has ignited the flame of change, and their poetry continues to be a powerful tool for social and political commentary. Indian poetry is a rich and diverse literary tradition that has evolved over thousands of years. Together it is a symphony of words, a harmony of rhythm, imagery, and emotion that has been playing for thousands of years. From the ancient Vedic hymns to the contemporary poetry of today, the verses of Indian poets have been a reflection of their time and culture, a medium through which they have shared their thoughts, emotions, and ideas with the world. Each era has added its own unique melody to the symphony, creating a rich and diverse literary tradition that is a true testament to the enduring power of poetry. Indian poetry is a symphony that continues to play, as new poets add their own voice to the harmony, creating a new chapter to the story. The Vedic hymns are the echoes of ancient India, whispers of devotion and reverence that have been carried through the ages. Written in the sacred language of Sanskrit, these hymns were not just poetry, but a means of communing with the divine. They were the prayers of sages, the offerings of saints, a way to connect with the gods and goddesses of the Vedic pantheon. These hymns were considered sacred texts, used in religious rituals and ceremonies, and were revered for their rich imagery and complex metaphors. They were a window into the poet's soul, revealing their devotion and reverence to the divine, and in them, we can still hear the echoes of ancient India and its spiritual tradition. In more recent times, Indian poetry has been influenced by both Eastern and Western literary traditions. Urdu poetry, for example, has a strong tradition of ghazals, which are rhyming love poems. These ghazals often contain a strong emotional and romantic theme, and have been written by some of the greatest poets in the Urdu language. Hindi poetry also has a rich tradition with poets like Rabindranath Tagore and Suryakant Tripathi, Nirala, gaining recognition and respect in India and around the world. Indian poetry is not just a mere form of literary expression, but a powerful tool for change. Throughout history, poets have used their words to shed light on the darker corners of society, to voice the struggles of the oppressed and to challenge the status quo. Poets like Faz Ahmad Faz and Mahadevi Verma have wielded the power of verse like a sword, slicing through the injustices and inequalities that plague our world. Their powerful and influential poetry is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path to a better future and speaking directly to the hearts and minds of readers. Their words continue to inspire and empower, a true testament to the enduring power of poetry. Indian poetry is a tapestry woven from the threads of culture, history, and politics that has been passed down through the ages. From the ancient Vedic hymns to the contemporary poetry of today, it is a medium of expression that has captured the hearts and minds of poets and readers alike. This rich and diverse literary tradition is a treasure trove of emotions, ideas, and imagination that continues to inspire and influence. It is an ever-flowing river that nourishes the literary landscape of India and the world. We appreciate your support and interest in our channel, and we look forward to bringing you more content on Indian poetry and other forms of poetry from around the world. Thank you again for watching, and we hope to see you back for more.